Yes, Nate.
Yes, Nate.
What's going on, guys? You alright?
Yeah.
Yes, we are good.
I'm trying to connect my my hands-free kit so I can hear you better, but it doesn't seem like that's gonna happen today. So I'm probably gonna be talking to you guys through the speaker. What's going on, guys? You alright?
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You just heard that feedback. All right. Yeah. This. All right. We actually live. So yeah. Big up Nate the lyricist. Stella B alongside me. This is the Out of Noise Revolutionary Minds show on gotkushTV. Our monthly scheduled session where we talk about the revolutionary mind of the month. And I'm your host, Nat Nai, the Lyrical Alchemist, and this is
Stella B. So welcome.
And we are joined by the creator, the mastermind, the general, the king.
But I am Nate the lyricist, flow poet, revolutionary mind, all of that. Yeah, man. Grateful to be in the space with you guys. Give thanks for gotkushTV for hosting us on their platform or our platform. Do you know what I'm saying? For letting us stand there, for giving us a safe space to come and speak about our ideals and all of that, man. We give thanks.
We give thanks. Yes, brother Shakara has helped us out with this. And we are back again this month and we're covering the Queen, the amazing Kimpa Vita. So every month we kind of, you can break it down actually.
Yeah. So Nate, what is this revolutionary minds we're all hyped about?
Yeah, okay. So revolutionary minds specifically, or Kimpa Vita, sorry?
Revolutionary minds specifically.
And then into
revolutionary minds, okay. Yeah, so Revolutionary Minds is the name of a poetry event that I started with the aid of these two beautiful spirits that you see in the room. The idea is that each month we choose a different revolutionary mind. So an activist, someone who was for us, you know, someone who was for like the African community specifically. And we just take some time to study that person throughout the course of the month to learn as much as we can about them, about their environment, about their life, about their death, about the messages they left us. And we turn that into poetry, you know. So each month, like over the course of, now it's been 12 months, we've studied obviously 12 different people, including but not limited to, I know you probably got the list now, but I don't have it. I've already long. I know that's not my bag, but you know, Patrice Lumumba, Masata Shakur, John Jack Dessalines, Booker T. Washington, to name a few. Yeah, we're 12 deep right now. And each month, as we study them, you know, I'm finding that I've been piecing together a lot of Black history. You know, just things like the story of Congo, you know, or like the difference between, I mean, we're probably going to talk about it a bit today, but the difference between the Portuguese occupation and the Belgian occupation, you know, and the difference in the time, the difference in the land that they were occupying, as in the Congo with a K versus the Congo with a C,
right.
You know, all of that, things that I think a lot of the elders in the community and other people who are more well studied than I am, you know like that. But me, I don't know. So, so I'm having to make a conscious effort to kind of sit down and choose a person, and then to study as much as I can about that person, learn as much as I can about them, about the culture, about, like I said, the environment surrounding that person. Each month, I have learned so much over the course of the last 12 months. Not only have I learned so much, but spiritually, there's also been like a massive what's the word, a reward that I think we've all experienced. Yeah, because each time we choose a revolutionary mind, I found that while we're studying them and honoring them, and as we're writing poetry about them, we can tend to sort of channel their energy, channel their spirit, feel them flowing through us as we create the words. So that's been an absolute blessing. It's been an honor. It's been a privilege. The idea was put together with the intention of supporting Auntie Jean's African Culture Market, which is on the third Sunday of every month, run in Brockwell, Brockley, sorry. Thank you. In South London. So it's a marketplace, Pan-African marketplace, you know, where they sell copper, they sell books, they sell food, etc. They have different speakers come. Now that we've introduced this poetry segment, we're noticing that the community is blossoming once again. It's a community which has already blossomed in the past, you know, but the community is blossoming again, which I'm absolutely grateful to be a part of and to see and to be doing as much as I can to champion, you know. But we have young people writing poetry about Harriet Tubman, you know, we have elderly people writing poetry about Queen Amana Renas, you know, so it really is an amazing thing that we're doing. Long may it continue. Shout out to one of the Garvey Village poets just steps in the building. Large up Blue Lotus.
Hi guys.
Peace, family. How are you?
I'm
How
good,
are you?
thanks. I'm blessed. Give thanks. How are you guys?
Yes, good.
Yeah,
Happy
I'm blessed. I'm
to
blessed.
you.
I'm blessed. Thank you.
Good. Looking forward to seeing you all on Sunday.
Yes, that's
Same.
right. We'll be there. And looking forward to hearing your poetry as well.
Yes, it's coming along. Getting there.
Excellent.
It needs time. I finished it finally. It just needs refining now. But I will still share what I've done today.
Okay.
Oh, fun. Okay, scene. This if Sister Kalila can hear me, I don't know what one. We can't add you to the stage for whatever reason. It just gives us the only option to kick or ban you out of the studio. So I don't know if you want to come out and come back in, and we can try and add you or something. I don't know what's happening. But yeah, it seems like there's always some sort of
technical fault or
difficulty for the first time round
when it's your first time. So it's take it as a good thing. This is part of the, you know, the what do you call them things there, like a welcoming thing.
Yeah, it's kind of
initiation.
Yeah. It's a part of
initiation. That's the word I was looking for.
Yeah.
Some technical difficulty to get into the stage. It's to prove your resilience.
Exactly.
Yeah, your perseverance. Like, how down are you? Because the revolutionary minds that we've studied, they're all resilient. That's one interconnected characteristic of all of them. They have to be resilient and persistent. So YouTube apparently agrees.
Yeah. It wasn't just YouTube before.
And Instagram.
IG too as well.
The ancestors agree through tech.
Yeah. So Nate's just broken down what revolutionary minds is all about. And so we're going to go into Kimpa Vita today. And yeah, it has been interesting. So you made a point about the Congo bouquet and learning history in that sense as well, which is very, very good about this whole study. Timelines as well. So knowing that before Kimpa Vita was born, there had been like, up to 2 centuries of the Portuguese in
indoctrination.
That's a long time. And so to get to the point where it is Kimpa Vita and she's still battling and she's still anti all of that indoctrination, it still comes through her. Shows you, like, because I was thinking about it, I was writing the other day and I was thinking about how long we still have within us this fight against all of that stuff.
In the bloodline, it's the fight of the ancestors. Like, we're born and we're born again, and they are still saying, "You ain't done yet. Cool, you go through next one. You next one." That's what it is.
Yeah, and there's some, like, it's not, magic isn't the word, but there is some quality to that extra specialness that comes through the blood, that comes to us, like to say, like, you have to keep this fight going. You cannot fall for their lives.
Yeah.
2 centuries, 200 years of the Portuguese being there. Like that's a long time that they've been taking to try and dominate Africa, essentially. And then they had their rise and fall, and then all the other European people came. So just what did you did you want to bring anything about that you found to the table, like any interesting things about that?
For me, what kind of really bothered me was just the mind games. It was a psychological infiltration before the actual infiltration. It was them coming there with their ways, their God, their religion, their status recognition symbols, and somehow convincing the nobility that was in a very rich and prosperous kingdom, had their own royalty, that their status, their religion, and their ways and their accolades were less important or less recognizable, or had less authority than their own, and therefore decided to adopt and lust after the titles and the accolades of the Portuguese, and that's what they used to then dangle the carrot to get them to do what they wanted and get them put the whole Game of Thrones into action. Essentially, it was a whole Game of Thrones thing, pitting king against king, destabilization, divide and conquer, and sending off them to Europe, and the lust and think, oh gosh, if I get to go to Portugal, I am better than this king, and if I get to learn Portuguese, I'm better than that king, and if I am Catholic, I am recognized by the Europeans, and therefore my rule is more or has more authority than yours. And that was the kind of games, chess moves that they played against the nobility in Congo to kind of destabilize the kingdom, and it kind of continues until this day, you know. That was really what my takeaway was, and that really bothered me. Yeah.
They have their version of juju, because it's the white god that they presented, right? It's the church, you know. That Nzinga being taken there as well. Remember, her sister got kidnapped and taken to Portugal and had to live there, going into Nzinga. But like 200 years of that is, so they use violence, lots of violence to get to get to the weakest kings or the weakest leaders, and then offering.
They indoctrinated and trained up their plants, and then brought them back to plant them, to disrupt and to kind of evangelize and convert more Portuguese to Catholicism, and get the kings. Once the nobility and the kings adopt their ways, all of the people that are below think, oh, this is the way to be. If I want to be like the rich, if I want to be like the noble, if I want to be like the kings, then I need to adopt their ways. And for them, that was Catholicism, European ways, all that kind of thing. Yeah.
Nate, what did you think?
You kind of mentioned it really, but I thought it was interesting, the crossover between Queen Nzinga and how she was sort of fighting or rebelling, or kind of, you know, speaking out against the Portuguese, and how not long after, correct me if I'm wrong, not long after she passed is when Kimpa Vita's story starts, right? So I thought that crossover was very, very interesting in terms of like the proximity between the two of them, you know. Queen Nzinga is definitely someone that we're going to have to look at some point on this journey.
Sure.
She's been on the list. Do you know what I mean? She's been on the list. She's been on the list.
And she's more well known than Kimpa Vita as well. But considering their stories, the timelines are so close together,
exactly.
It's kind of strange that Kimpa Vita is not as well known as Queen Nzinga.
Right. Exactly. But I think another a factor with that, well, I don't know if it's a factor actually, but Kimpa Vita's age, man, that blew my mind, you know, thinking about how young she was as she was doing what she was doing, you know, and even though she had a massive impact, I guess because she wasn't royalty, she wasn't a queen, you know, she kind of had a few thousand followers and she was young. She started a movement, do you know what I'm saying? So it's kind of like a more of a if you know, you know type of thing. And it's not, well, it clearly doesn't have the same international acclaim as Queen Nzinga's story, you know, but it is definitely as powerful, I think, you know.
Absolutely.
I think it's funny because when you look into the research part, there's so much in Portuguese that I found, and you know, that's been a big barrier for us when we're trying to learn about our leaders and our heroes and sheroes is like languages, because a lot of the time we're restricted to the English heroes, but there's so many that came from Brazil or came from here, there, everywhere. And obviously Kimpa Vita, is someone that maybe they began to explore in South America and, you know, other places where they speak Portuguese more. And we are just catching up. So even that documentary that that Nat found is like a weird thing, because it's actually narrated by Congo, and he obviously speaks in English, but there's parts where it's silent and there's parts where they're just speaking Portuguese. You're like, okay. So that can be limiting in trying to find out and source the information. But I think her power is getting out, or her name is getting out now more. But it's not as
also
well known.
I think a lot of her story, like, I don't know if it is just a language barrier, or if there's more to it, but I do feel like a lot of her story is quite what's the word, it's difficult to kind of really pin down, you know. I'm hearing so many different things about her. Like, we don't have a solid date of birth. We have a year of birth, but not a solid date, you know, to begin with, which is understandable. But also, like, there are some sites or some accounts, you know, which will talk about how she raised the dead, you know, and there are others which will mention other things that she done. But there's so much, what's the word I'm looking for? I can't think of the word. But there's so much, like, so many different little stories out there about her that I think there's a comprehensive study on her is needed, you know, like, for someone to really go around and collate all of the facts, do you know what I'm saying, and kind of give us a book or give us a something. That would be really dope. I think she needs that. She deserves that, I believe.
Yeah.
Is it
For sure?
Is it Kimpa Vita? I can't remember now. Where the book that somebody posted a book that is worth £5,000 or something.
Yeah, me. I did.
You did.
I did see that book. Yeah, you know what? In my head, that book doesn't even exist because what is that, man? How is that book that's £5,000 about Kimpa Vita?
I don't know.
But that says a lot, though, doesn't it?
It does.
That says a lot.
It does. I think so. That book is like, you did find it as well, didn't you, Yemaya? The like, there's a version. Yeah.
I saw it online, but it was in Portuguese.
Oh. Yeah.
Okay.
That's the gatekeeping. Like 5,000. Like only if you're really wealthy can you afford that.
Yeah, it must be a first edition or something. There must be something special about that book. So, because the Medinecha books, they're also going, like, when you want to try and buy a Medinecha book, the price of it, I'm like, hang on a minute, what's going on here? So it's just one of them collectibles. Do you know what I mean? So I feel like it's that. So, and I thought that when we talk about cultural assets, why shouldn't a first edition book about Kimpa Vita cost that much? Good, so it should. It's a first edition book potentially about a historical great. Make someone bid for that, yes?
Yeah, as long as they're getting their money, as long as it's them.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree. But then whose hands is it in?
That's true. Yeah. Good point.
Yeah, 5 bags for a book, man. I mean, who's the publisher? You know,
who's getting the money?
Is it Friends of Congo that's getting the money for that book? Because then, you know.
It stops us from accessing that information. Like I'm just like, what I wonder, you know, like with the Sunlight 55, great topic. She rose from the dead after 3 days. Like that point, love her story. That point there, like, what if in that book is like it's laid out as facts, like that is actually happening.
It's true. It would be good to get that information, isn't it?
Yeah,
it's so true. Yeah,
it would be good if it was more accessible. It would be good if it was more accessible. I mean, there's plenty of information out there, you know, but it is kind of
coming.
a bit here and there, you know. It's a bit kind of, there's a word I'm looking for, and I cannot find it. I'm gonna find it at some point today, and I'm gonna throw it in the conversation. But you know, the information about her is not as comprehensive as I think I would love for it to be, you know, not as comprehensive as it has been for some of the other revolutionary minds that we studied. Her story seems to be, even though it is a true story, which I think is what's amazing as well, the fact that Kimpa Vita's story is a true story, you know, the fact that there are so many like nuanced different versions of it, slightly different versions of the story, you know, I think is what's interesting for me, you know, because it kind of adds like an air of mystery to her character for me, you know.
She's like another Harriet in that way, isn't it? With the mystery, the kind of not spookism, but like spiritual prophetess. Like, you know, she's got a magic quality to her as well.
Yeah. Did before we even get it too deep into her, did anyone else come up across Mama Mafuta?
Yeah.
No.
Love her. Absolutely love her. Mama Mafuta. But then she's another person who, you know, trying to find information on her, there's not much, you know.
Yeah.
So Stella, Mama Mafuta was she was a spiritualist, I think, for want of a better word. I should have written down some stuff about her really, but she was like a spiritualist. And she, I think, had like a bit of an awakening or something like that. And she really pioneered people going back to African spiritual systems. She pioneered that. Yeah.
Yeah, before Kimpa Vita did.
Before Kimpa Vita. Kimpa Vita was one of her students, was like prayed with her, you know. Yeah, she and Mama Mafuta, she basically like she pioneered everyone going back to African spirituality, and by African spirituality, it was more a from what I could see, it was like a tradition of channeling the ancestors, right? So you see how we channel the ancestors when we write, yeah? What Mama Mafuta was getting them to do was to, as they prayed, was to channel the ancestors, right? So as they're doing it, they're seeing results, they're feeling the spirit, you know, and this spirit is spreading across Congo. Like literally, there's an awakening happening in Congo as a result of Mama Mafuta. I thought that was so interesting, right? Kimpa Vita now is born, and she is like naturally extremely spiritual. So she's sent to go and learn under Mama Mafuta. Yeah. Who begins to vouch for her. She says, this one, wow, this is a prophetess. She's a real one, you know. So I just found her story to be, or like her presence to be noteworthy. Same with, you know, Aunt Toya and some of our kind of quote unquote supporting characters, but they kind of like really and truly could easily be a main character. Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Easily be a main character. Mama Mafuta definitely piqued my interest as I was studying.
I'm glad you brought her up that name, because she can easily be forgotten as well in the midst of all the research, because they don't talk about her that much in passing. So I'm glad you brought her up.
Is that the practice of Nganga Marinda?
Yeah.
Is that what that is?
Yeah.
I believe so, yeah. Yeah.
I can't say it, sorry. Nganga.
I feel like I might even be butchering her name with my colonized tongue. Mafuta is the best I'm giving it right now, you know?
Oh, thank you for that. That's really good. That's really insightful. Now, that
was a proper gem for me.
Okay, cool. Nganga Marinda. Oh, man, this colonized tongue is terrible.
Isn't it? So it was like Mama Mafuta, the spiritualist system that she brought in, or that she see you later, Yams. Come back. The spiritual system that she brought in was, as I said, was one of channeling. Yeah, channeling. So Kimpa Vita was an amazing channel. You know, she was like a very, very clear channel when she was channeling. From what I'm hearing, she was doing so correctly. You know, so well that I mean, we'll get a bit more into her story. I just saw Empress Khalila's. Oh, she gone. I wanted to say well.
Try again, please, Empress, because you came on real quick.
Yeah, I saw you. We saw you.
Yeah, he flashed on.
I got gassed.
Okay.
Yeah, go on, mate.
Yeah, she was an excellent channel. And I think one thing that kind of spun me a little bit with her story was because her parents grew up in the church, in the Christian church, or came up in the Christian church, or brought her up, should I say, in the Christian church. So Catholic specifically. Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
So
I feel like there's a distinction between them still, even though they both stem from the same Judaism, or I feel Catholicism got different. They have the saints, they have that, you know, ancestor worship element that Christianity doesn't have, and I feel like that's why the Congolese probably was more susceptible to it as well, because I know why they were able to synthesize it more into their practices, because they were able to mask their ancestors and their amongst the Catholic,
Right.
what do you call them, saints? Yeah. Sorry to interrupt you. Go on, Nick.
No, syncretism's the word, because this is what she's done, right? She's ended up channeling. Is it Saint Anthony?
Yeah.
Is that right? Yeah. So she's ended up channeling a Christian saint with her channeling ability that she's got from her ancestors. Yeah, that they're all using. She's ended up channeling a Christian saint, and I thought that was a very, very interesting. I don't know if strategy is the right word, or like story, just like an interesting spin on the story, you know, because she apparently when she was in the church, she was praying and she was channeling, but the Catholic Church, they banned like this particular form of prayer because obviously it was ancestral worship or ancestral veneration, sorry. I didn't like it. So before syncretizing it, you know, they tried to ban it. And in doing so, they ended up expelling Kimpa Vita or Kimpa Vita, sorry, left the church. I don't think they expelled her. She left the church, yeah, with a couple others. And everyone who knew her knew that even though she had left the church, she was still diehard for, you know, St. Anthony. She was still like, definitely riding for this particular saint, yeah. So she's channeling this saint, as I understand it, as well as she's channeling others, you know, during these prayer sessions that they're having, yeah. And she's coming out of them with direction, and she's speaking with direction after these prayer sessions. After she's channeled, she's coming and speaking to everyone and prophesying and saying, this is what I have learned, this is what I have heard, you know. I think we might have missed a step or two, but I want to salute the Empress that's come on stage.
The step is important one, is where she gets him first, is after her resurrection, isn't it? The first.
Yeah, we've missed that step. We have missed
she
that
dies
step.
and comes back.
Yeah.
And it says, when I was dead, this is what I got. This is what I know, and preaching the message that she was, you know, spreading across the kingdom after that. Yeah.
So I didn't know about all these details. Where are you getting these sources? Because we haven't seen any of this.
Are you not finding this? What?
No, like the stuff we've seen is mostly just kind of an overview of her. This is detailed, like what you're saying.
Detailed, man. Yeah. I probably haven't been so forthcoming with posting links in the group. And that is because I have only started my research on Kimpa Vita this week, you know, because obviously the last couple of weeks I've had other research projects going on. So I've been trying to dig as much as I can this week and kind of get as much as I can in the short time, you know.
Done very well.
Yeah. Like, but I've been
You've
reading
done
a couple
dug very
blogs.
deep.
There's been some really good blogs, but it's more been like about reading instead of watching. I found that reading, like if you find like a good blog or two and kind of like read through them and kind of, this is what I was saying, that I'm hearing a lot of different things, you know, but I'm trying to find the similarities and be like, okay, this is the consistencies in the story. And that's what I'm trying to bring in, you know. But yeah, one of them was Queen Mothers of Africa and Their Daughters .blogspot. There was another one, which I can't remember. But
Okay.
yeah,
I
man,
was
most
like, I found the most information from reading as well. Reading some of the things that I read that had the most detailed information, some of the most thorough information. I was able to they did cross-reference some of the consistent, you know, information and some new things here and there. So yeah.
I watched a few videos. I did watch a few videos, but they seem to be so general, you know, and they all kind of were saying the same thing, or like the same kind of part of her story, that she died and came back to life, that, you know, and they all I don't know, maybe it's confirmation bias for me, but none of them were telling me the specific thing that I really wanted to know, you know, because they were saying that she was letting people know that Christians, or she said that she passed, her spirit left her body. Yeah. When she passed, her spirit left her body and traveled to the ancestral realm. And then while it was there, she saw like Congolese people, you know, she saw Jesus, she saw Mary, she saw all of them, right?
And they were
But they all
black.
look like you and me, is what she's saying, right? And then
She woke up and was like,
she's
it's a
come
lie.
back.
The angels are alive. They're black like you and me. They're liars. And that was it from there.
Right. So, and then she's come back, and now this is where my personal beliefs, obviously I've got to say this for clarity, yeah, this is where my personal beliefs kind of come in, and like I said, I'm looking for something specific here, yeah, because I am thinking, how can she have seen Jesus? Yeah, she must have seen maybe like the Christ consciousness or the Christ energy, or she must have seen a representative of Christ as opposed to the biblical character referred to as Jesus, because that person never existed. So if she saw someone, yeah, then that person, as I'm seeing it, must have been like a representation of Christ. And I'm thinking she's come back, and what I'm hoping, the bias that I was bringing in, I was hoping that she was coming back and saying, "You are Christ, you are Christ, you are Christ." Yeah, but that doesn't seem to have been the message. You know, that was kind of what I was looking for when I was kind of scrolling through. It also wasn't so far from the message, though. Do you know what I'm saying? What do you have to say about that, Stella? Come on that.
No. Before we do, I'm going to acknowledge that we have Sister with us
Oh,
now.
Empress, yes.
Empress.
Hey, welcome.
You made it through the technical difficulties.
Great to have you up on stage with us. You're on mute, I think.
You can't hear us.
Oh,
you can hear us.
Can't hear you.
But you can't unmute. You can't unmute.
Okay.
Oh man.
Okay.
Welcome, family. It's really good to have you.
Oh no.
Go on, look.
Okay. No. Okay. On your point, Nate, it is actually two conflicting messages, because there is a version that I've seen, which is more about her bringing the element of us being African, like you guys, we are African, and then there's this other element where it feels like the Europeans have twisted the narrative a bit more, and it's been more like she was selling the idea of the church and of Christianity amongst the people. So that kind of made me go, oh, I was saying to Yemaya like the other night when we were talking, I wonder if knew and was really preaching that we're black and she was anti the church? Or was it that she was mixing it with the two, like how candomblé is today?
It was
like
a bit of both, I would say. My interpretation was a bit of both. Like she was mixing it, but she was also banning out the Portuguese. She was saying like that they are hypocrites, that they're not real Christians, that they're not, what they're teaching is not the truth, it's a lie, and look at what they're doing all these evil things, that they're not representing the religion properly, so you shouldn't follow them. What they're saying. That's what she was saying.
She did seem to me to be decidedly Christian, you know. She was like, even though she really did tap into her ancestral veneration practices, and she studied under a spiritualist, she studied under Mama Mafuta, you know, she also grew up with her parents bringing her to the Catholic Church, and that had an absolutely inescapable role in the kind of person that she grew up to become, or the kind of prophetess that she became, you know.
True. Yeah, because even this narrative about, you know, she had a son, she had a baby outside of wedlock.
I haven't even tapped into that properly, but I did know that. Yeah, I did.
Yeah, they burnt the son with her.
They burnt the son with her.
Yeah,
like they're twisted, but yeah, that's not really overtly spoken on as well. But they burnt them both together.
Yeah, and in front of her mother. Can you imagine watching your daughter and your grandchild burn alive? How traumatic that must be. And this is why, and this is just my opinion, this is why Congo is going through this madness it's going through, because so much evilness has happened there. It's just there's just the blood is just in the soil. Like
it
the
is in the soil. It's in the minerals, sis. It's like, like it reminds me of Lord of the Rings. Like, you know, the evil comes with that ring. And it's like that area is just full of all of this
energy. Just
evil shit.
Exactly.
And when she had the baby, or when she had sex outside of marriage, that was an issue for her because of what you're saying with the fact that she was so Christian.
Well, at the same time, she was also saying that it was a virgin birth. She was saying that she told the Catholic, I don't know if that was the truth, if she was telling them that, or whether she did have sex out of wedlock, but the narrative was that she was like, it was a virgin birth, like it was a, that was what was being told. I don't know if she was saying that to save her skin, or if that was actually what she believed, or true to her. Do you get me? So, but that was what was being said, that the pregnancy, the child was conception. Did you get that?
Her story had so many parallels to that of Christ's story. I would not be surprised, you know, like that she died and came back to life, that she was reported to have healed the sick and to have raised the dead. You know, she might as well have fed the 5,000 with 2 bits of bread. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, she literally was just going out here walking on water, you know. She was just like doing all of the
things before her. She passed them, all of that.
I would not be surprised if it was a virgin birth at all.
So did you not read that then? Did you not catch that one? When she was
I did catch that, actually. I did catch that.
Okay, I didn't make my mind.
No, I caught that one.
Okay.
Yeah. So, sis, are you able to talk now? No. Okay, it's all right. So, okay, how have you found converting it into poetry form? Has that been?
I haven't started.
Well, for me, it took longer than expected because I didn't know which angle to take it, because it was such a complex story. Because it's involving spiritualism, it's involving religion, it's involving colonization, slavery, corruption, the royal family, all these things. I was like, where do I start? Which angle? So I started it from different angles, and it took me a while to kind of narrow it down. I basically started it from scratch 3 times, from 3 different perspectives, and I'm finally done it, but I haven't, like I said, I haven't refined it. So again, it was a bit of a struggle to kind of connect, because as I said, when I'm reading works directly from that person, I find it easy to channel that energy. When I'm reading stuff that's that third-hand information stuff, it's harder to get their energy, their essence. But I got there in the end, and it's down.
Okay.
Whether I'm happy completely with it, it's down. It needs to be poetry now. It's written down, but it's not poetry yet.
Ah,
Yeah.
yes, I'm gassed.
You're crafting it.
Yeah.
gassed.
The clay is on the, what do you call it? The pin or whatever it is. The clay is there now.
Yeah, it just needs crafting now. But I will share what I've got. Some of the poetry flows naturally, and some of it needs some wordsmithing in it. It needs some wordsmithing.
Yeah.
That's it, really.
If your last few pieces are anything to go by, I'm confident that will be a masterpiece. I'm confident. I'm so excited.
Yeah, thanks. I received that.
Yeah. What about you?
I haven't. Oh, sorry.
Yeah, no, take it, Nate, because because I've still got a lot of work to do. Like I do.
You've started.
I've written a couple of lines. Like literally, this is like, yeah. Out of all the months since we started doing this live, I've been pressed to do more than finishing it on the Sunday. But this month, I've kind of reverted back to form. So, yeah. Over to you, Nate.
As I've already said, you know. So I've had since our last Revolutionary Mind, I have had 2 shows that I've had to prepare for. So I've been preparing for them, and the most recent was last weekend. So since last weekend, I have been studying for this weekend. So I've kind of got myself a week to study and write. So I've picked up a lot in the study. I've definitely learned a lot. I think there's probably still some more things that we're yet to cover, actually. Is there? I'm sure there's more that we're yet to cover. But I know I'm yet to translate it into poetry. I know that for a fact. But I think it will come quite easily for me, this one, because I'm really enjoying the story. I'm finding that her story, colloquial, I think is the word I'm looking for, that I've been looking for this whole time. I'm like, her story is really, 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 it's like word of mouthy, you know? And I think because of that, because it's already quite, for want of a better word, perhaps slightly embellished, or, you know, it's already quite remarkable, unbelievable. Like, she died and came back to life. What? You know, this is already a poem. It writes itself. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, this woman, she went around healing the dead. You know, this poem literally writes itself. So
it was the tree thing that stood out for me. I really like the tree thing.
Yeah.
The tree album to her. I love that.
I feel like it's already quite poetic, you know, as much as we've heard so far.
Yeah.
Like, because of the way that the story's been given to us. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, because the story's kind of like a word of mouth story. Maybe because it's not in a book, or maybe because it's just the way that she lived her life, the way that the energy that she carried. I'm not sure what it is, man, but it just feels like it would be really easy to translate into poetry, you know?
Yeah.
Like, one thing that I must say that I mentioned it earlier, but I think is probably still the most remarkable point for me is her age. Is that a lot of this stuff occurred for her. She died when she was 22. I think a lot of her preaching, I think she first died and came back to life when she was 17, unless I'm mistaken. When she was 17, yeah. And she, as I said, she'd come up under Mama Mafuta, and when she came back to life and started taking her preaching work more seriously, Mama Mafuta has like followed her around and stood behind her and said, yes, this is the truth. Yes, this one, she's telling the truth. Yeah. And she was 17. Do you know, I just think that's amazing. Like, she really did spread this African spiritualism, this African spiritualist system. She spread it, you know, to people in the Catholic Church, because they could see how serious she was about Catholicism to begin with. Like, I think she kind of had like an in where some others where maybe Mama Mafuta might not have. You know, some people would listen to her because she would talk about St. Anthony as well.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I think some people listened to her and they will kind of give her a bit more the benefit of the doubt. And she really did bring, like, as I understand it, thousands of people back from the brink of Portuguese Catholicism, which is incredible, including, if I remember rightly, the then king's wife was one of the people that not so much converted to Antonianism.
It's a mouthful, isn't it?
Yeah. I feel like I might be adding an extra N in there somewhere, but yeah, not that she converted, but that she supported, from what I was able to see. So,
Hey.
I think it wasn't just the king's wife. I think there were some people, and many more people in the nobility that did support her covertly, but they couldn't do so overtly because of all the political ramifications that was connected to her.
Right.
But a lot of them, they were reluctant to kind of like demonize her. They really were in support of her, because they also done the syncretism themselves. They were doing it themselves in the nobility, but some of them couldn't do it as overtly, the closer they were to Portuguese political power. So even I think even the king that they got to order her execution, he took some persuading himself. He didn't really want to do it, but they then done some next mind Jedi trick on him and made them think that she was gonna get him deposed, but she was. But they used that as a way to get him to move his hand to get her to order her execution.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of these things, when they say that, I don't believe that it was. I've started to not believe what they're saying anymore, because what I've realized is a lot of their getting him to do it, or he actually signed it, or he said yes, is a lot of like arm twisting to the extent where
duress.
He might have said no to their very end. Do you know what I mean? I'm realizing like
that's a point. So
right up until
it is a point. Historically, we know.
I don't believe them
historically, we know that, you know, when kings said no to colonizers, they were beheaded. You know, we've seen it happen. So because of that, for them to be like, oh yeah, these kings just said yes, you know, it is a red flag. Anything that's come from them is a red flag. Anything that's come from them is not to be trusted, you know. So I hear that.
But I just wanted to note that they did highlight the fact that it wasn't a straight yes. He was reluctant to do so, even though he eventually gave the order. And the thing is, the Portuguese, again with the political mind tricks, the order had to come from him, even though it was from them. It was technically they wanted it. They persuaded him. They ordered it, but the order had to come from the king because of obviously how it looked in terms of political games. So yeah, good points there. Still,
was it King
Alfonso in the Battle of Umbrella?
Yeah, so he would be what was it? I think a couple generations prior to Kimpa Vita.
Not even quite that. Yeah, maybe like 10 years. 10 years after.
No, she wasn't born.
She was born 7 years after, no?
Okay, maybe. No, that was after Queen Zinga had died.
Okay, yeah.
There were a few different kings. They said it was like Game of Thrones in that whole period. There were a few different kings that changed, and then dethroned. The other king took his place. The capital changed, and the new king put in, and then Kimpa Vita saying this should be the rightful king. Go and reclaim the throne. It was a whole heap of Game of Thrones going on during that time.
Like really, really was. And I think it's King Alfonso. Anyway, like basically his story was, or the king I'm referring to, he wasn't having it, and he was like beating them in battle, like the Portuguese. They did go to the war, and he was beating them. And then basically his was a treachery. Was it son? Was it the son?
No, like one foot soldier who turned around and stabbed him in the back, basically,
literally
on the fields. So it's the Battle of Umbrella. It's like the most famous battle, and he's this one converted Christian or whatever comes and he stabbed him in the back after they'd won. They thrashed the Portuguese, and yeah.
It's always one, isn't it?
And he just like, yeah.
But
they chopped his head off, and then they took, and it was a ritual to have his head in the middle of a church or something. They put it in the middle of a church,
and
celebrated it. So the Portuguese were celebrating his head being there and put it in the church.
Yeah.
That's their church. That's their holy place.
Wow.
And basically that in a sort of weird kind of way mirrors Patrice Lumumba a lot later on. In terms of Patrice Lumumba, the ones who actually pulled the trigger were his own brothers, own African brothers, who did it. And then when it came to the next level evil ritualistic type, that was the Belgians. The Belgians are the ones who chopped his body up and dissolved it into acid and took his teeth and all that kind of stuff, which they held on to up until like I think last year. It kind of mirrors
sadistic, man.
sort of thing. Like the convert stabbed him in the back, and then they hand over his body to the Portuguese, who then do this next level ritualistic evil. Like,
because I think they really need to dissolve these bodies, because they know that we keep regenerating, we keep coming back, and it's like their way of trying to end that through fear, but also ritualistically they're trying to annihilate that.
And if there's no body, there's no, did you really even exist? Like 500 years later, you'll just be a myth. There's no tomb, there's no bones, there's no nothing. You didn't exist. That's what they were trying to do. That's what they were trying to do.
But it amplifies it, ironically.
Absolutely. And it also scars the consciousness of the nation. That kind of, act will kind of scar you psychologically for anybody who's thinking about coming up after him, would have to think twice as well. It's a lot.
And like as you lot were saying earlier, what we're seeing today is as a result of these ritualistic evil acts. It's a result. It's like they demonize our spiritual practices, saying it's evil and demonic when we do rituals or when we do do certain things that they've been doing, because they know the power of it. They don't want us to tap into that. Yeah, exactly. It's
adding Shakara to the stage. Brother Shakara.
Yeah, it's deep. It's deep. Like, and what that whole thing made me think of, in fact, the story of Kimpa Vita and going into the Kingdom of Congo, like two things for me. It reinforced the idea that our kingdoms existed beyond the borders that we think of today. So Kingdom of Congo included Angola and obviously Congo, but the other country was, oh my days.
Yeah, Gabon. One more.
Congo,
it was
Brazzaville,
4 different ones.
The Congo, Brazzaville, Congo, DRC, Gabon.
Oh yeah,
Angola.
Yeah.
And so that's another element of them literally dividing regard for their own sake. And so our identities with certain nations is not our own. It's not us. And then also,
it's not our story. Yeah.
It's not our. Yeah. Like, I'm this, I'm that. Like, are you? It's And the other thing is that, which is so important, especially with the social media discourse right now. With especially from the FBA, ADOS, them African American lost brothers and sisters, like, and even the language of they sold us and all this kind of that real basic ignorant stuff, right? This story really shows how much fighting there was done, like on the land itself, and what, in order for them to even enslave us and take us across the ships, they had to do this level of evil. They had to, and it was literally centuries. And the parallel as well, like the Portuguese are enslaving, and then you have these kings and queens that are standing up and saying, okay, even with the Kingdom of Congo, they convert to Catholicism, And then it's like, okay, I thought we're like brothers in arms. So when they're writing letters to the Pope and saying, please, can you stop enslaving our people? To the Portuguese, please, can you stop it? Aren't we Christian brothers? Yeah. And it's like, no, we're not. We will continue to perpetuate this level of evil against you and ritual and such. And it's through, like Stella always emphasizes, the violence. And it's through that level of violence which enabled them to continue to take our people, like across to the Americas and the Caribbean and all that kind of stuff.
Every level.
Yeah.
Every level.
But we don't know, like a lot of our people don't know that element.
You've even got the kings writing to them, innit, and saying, yeah, exactly. It's yeah. They ignore that, but
there was no pleading. There was no ability to plead to their conscience.
No.
Even from the perspective as a Christian, like we are Christians now.
But it just shows you what Christianity really was. It's like just a power tool for control over the people.
100% from the beginning.
From the start, it's not been anything
from Christian era.
So I just find it very interesting. I do feel like that stories like this need to be told more, so that we can have a more balanced view in terms of what happened, because the narrative essentially is like they came over, and they came over with guns, but they also came over with mirror and thread, and our African leaders were like, here, take them, and that was it. Like basically that's the storyline. And really and truly, in actuality, they came across a lot of kings. Fighting. They came across opulence. They came to us, and somehow, some way, like their Sith mind tricks, their witchcraft, managed to capture our minds, and you know.
No, it's the violence.
and the sheer
violence,
the relentless violence. Yeah.
They are prepared to do really messed up things, which we were shocked by. You know, like in cultures, they talk about the Japanese having honor and things like that. We also have honor, and we respect family values, and we respect our word. We weren't used to people saying one thing and then doing complete opposite to what they promised.
Yeah.
If you said that, then that's what it is what we were thinking. Do you know what I mean? This kind of snaky behavior was new to how we approach things, so that was part of it. And then feeding in, like I said, like this energy of like finding the weaker leaders or the weaker ones and then manipulating them, and like you said, taking them to Portugal and then, you know, showing them this version of this is so nice over here, and then bringing that just how they do today. Like they'll take people to Cambridge and
it's been rinse and repeat. It's a very effective tactic. Why would they change it? It's been rinse and repeat since then.
Yeah,
been working. Yeah, it's not broke. It's not broke. I think another factor, and this is coming from my insight as an astrologer, is that on the year 0 we entered the age of Pisces. Yeah, which is the age of belief.
Yeah.
So they've centered this entire ritual of, you know, Christianity on us entering the age of Pisces, on us entering the age of belief. Yeah. And even though that was when Christian era started, the shout out to Robin Walker when we ruled, the Muslim jihad happened around 700 Christian era.
Yeah.
Right? So Christian era was started with the nonsense in mind, but the Muslims jumped in first. They jumped in early and said, we're going to start colonizing and enslaving and doing all of that. Do you know what I'm saying? And then, as we can see, come 1600s, now the Christians are going on their crusades, you know, right up until 1800s, where we have like the modern, like Britain and France and, you know, whatever, doing their whatever. But I think it's important to note that all of this is occurring through the age of Pisces, only because of what you were saying earlier, Nat, about how they got into our head. That is my sincere belief, you know, that we have been and still are in the age of belief, you know. So I think that was kind of a little bit of the magic that them were working with.
Definitely.
That makes perfect sense.
Yeah.
In terms of you know, we all have to go through the ages. So we're just in our Iron Age time, like the time of war, the time of battle, the time of struggle and such. We've had our golden age period, and it's going to come back again. It's just that in the cycle we're in our we are literally at our lowest point. Like these last few centuries, we've been at our lowest point. But it's a part of it.
Did you all come across the other prophet that's modern? The man, I can't remember his name. I've been trying to search for him now because I thought I wrote his name down, but I'll find him later. But he's also a prophet. Basically, she made a lot of babies. She basically, her message traveled through the passage. So a lot of people from Congo fought in the Americas, in Brazil, in wherever. There's like loads of battles that they can root back to Kimpa Vita, the Antonians and or whatever, because like there's one called the Stone Rebellion 1739, and basically they killed off all of the enslavement masters. They killed them off, like terrorized them, like chopped heads off and did all of that stuff. They were like, no, I'm not having it. And Kimpa Vita was the spirit in which they did it in, and that happened a lot. So her energy, it's gone further than Africa's heartland, and I find that
you know, I think that was another really interesting thing for me, because of all of the revolutionary minds that we studied, I even wondered why I was called to, like, attracted towards Kimpa Vita, because she's so overtly Catholic Christian, you know, and I was like, why am I here? Like, how did we even end up studying this Christian person? But at the same time, Marcus Garvey was Christian, Malcolm X was Nation of Islam, so you know it's gonna happen, yeah. But at the same time, it did confuse me, and then I came to realize that, you know, the spiritual practices that they were following before, or that she also was working with, they were channeling people, as a common practice. And that is what we had been doing for the last year. I'm telling you now, we have been channeling people. So I really feel like this is offering like a unique insight into that kind of realm, into that world. Just a reminder that what we're doing is like a cultural practice, that, you know, like when we're writing about these people that we're studying, when we're spending months studying these great magnificent ancestors, these revolutionary minds, and we're, you know, channeling their thoughts and their energies and kind of creating poetry from them, we're channeling them, man. We really are. Like, they went and prayed, but we are going and meditating. And I feel like that was just a poignant reminder for me, you know, this particular revolutionary mind.
Like, it's so deep what you're saying as well. And like, even though the month ends and we move on to the next, they still remain. Like, I still with me. Like, even when I return back to the because, you know, I've been rushing and I've been, you know, like, I've been finishing it on the day and stuff like that. So when I return, I'm like, all right, let me just actually deal with this thing properly. But they're still there. Like, they're still so strong. Yeah. I still feel Booker T, for example. Like,
Booker T walks with me daily, bro. Booker T walks with me daily. I think it's also important to remember that we're in a bit of a vortex, you know, as Garvey Village poets. Yeah, we're in a bit of a vortex because, you know, we're doing a month's worth of study on people who have books written about them. Do you know what I'm saying? So it's not like we're experts on any of the people that we're studying. It's not like we've done all the research and now we know all the things. We are absolutely scratching the surface on every single one of these revolutionary minds that we're studying, you know. We're digging as deep as we can. We're sharing information. We're sharing resources. But we're learning We're learning things that we don't already know and adding to things that we may already know. Or in some cases, like this case, I didn't know anything about Kimpa Vita, you know. So I'm learning dribs and drabs, but I know I'm scratching the surface. And I think that is another important point that you raised there, Nat, because after we finish this little 1 month kind of crash course on each person, you know, that now I'm kind of in the habit of going back and double. Like I was talking to one of my friends about Booker T. Washington the other day, and I went back to double check some stuff that I heard that I remembered. Do you know what I'm saying? Just because I'm in that vortex, I'm in that space right now. You know, I was like, nah, I studied this the other day, even though it was like months ago. It was still the other day because it's all a blur. Do you know what I'm saying? So
there's so much important things not to forget as well. You know, if these demons see you open your eyes because only your eyes can see. Am I reading that right?
Yeah, but the conversation's moved on since then. That's why.
I just wanted to.
I like your previous point, Natty Dread, about let me see if I can find it.
Okay, yeah.
Nah, there was a previous comment that Natty Dread made about another revolutionary mind that we have to look into, Shaka Zulu. Yeah, man. Yeah. Look, it's just popped up on the screen. That one there.
Listen, when I came across Shaka Zulu, like Shaka Zulu, I just wanted to find. I was addicted. I was like, I was so impressed. I was just like, yeah, this story, right?
Shaka Zulu's story is absolutely
get enough. I'm telling you,
fantastic. Worth a poem, you know. Definitely worth some proper study, some veneration. Yeah, man.
Exclusive coming. Yeah, coming soon. Is that what you're saying?
Absolutely, yeah, absolutely. I mean, we've got our next few worked out. You know, we've kind of got our next couple of revolutionary minds pretty much patterned. We've got our next one. As you can see,
Lassie the first.
There you go. Yeah. Fly them there. Yeah, and then obviously after that is the month of Mosiah. So we're going to be looking at Marcus Messiah Garvey after that one. And then after that, we need to get back into the divine feminine. So I caught wind of the name Ida B. Wells, and that one is just stuck in my consciousness.
Yeah.
You know, and then after that, we're going to be looking for another divine masculine. So, you know, we can see where we're going from there, man. Maybe Shaka Zulu then, I don't know. But we need to put together, I need to put together an Excel spreadsheet and let everyone throw in suggestions and find a way to maybe make sure we're doing good names at good times. Do you know what I'm saying? So like, is this one's birthday, or this is the day that one died, or, you know, like if we get enough suggestions, we should have enough to kind of do them at a good time for them, you know.
100% agree. That will help with you see, some people draw more people. Like Harriet Tubman got a lot of people.
Yeah, exactly. Harriet Tubman brought a load of people. Harriet Tubman brought a load of people. Right.
So if we had like,
she's the most famous.
Yeah. So if it was like based on, for example, someone's Earth Strong coming, or Malcolm X is 100 next year.
Malcolm X is 100. I thought about that one. Malcolm X has to get knowledge.
And Patrice Lumumba's 100, so we might do a repeat. But like, just I think you can do your idea of the spreadsheet. Because Ida B. Wells came up again randomly after whoever brought it up at the UNIA. Someone else brought it up.
Sister Nzinga brought it up.
Oh yeah,
Nzinga.
Yeah.
We're gonna have to really look.
Elder Nzinga, but somebody else brought it up. Ida B. Wells up the other day as well. Yeah.
So she's speaking. She's like communicating. She's like.
She's speaking. She's speaking. So I want to honor her and, you know, like put a spotlight on her story. And, you know, yeah, I definitely want to do that. I want to do that after Marcus Garvey, I think, at the B Worlds. But yeah, man, we've got literally a mountain to climb, which I'm so grateful for, man, because it's like every single step we take on this journey, we're learning about a new inspirational life, another person. This is a good mountain to have. You know, this is not a mountain of slavery stories. It's not a mountain of, you know, failures. This is a mountain of revolutionary minds. This is a mountain. There are so many revolutionary minds in our community that can inspire us and guide us. And do you know what I'm saying? Like, it's at the top. We all know what's at the top of this mountain. Do you know what I'm saying? So,
facts.
Yeah, mum.
And it is a blessing. Like we were talking earlier yesterday, and with 2C87, and we're just saying about like it's a blessing to have a sort of awareness, a consciousness level that we have.
It's a privilege.
Like it's a privilege because like certain times you just get struggle and be like, why?
Just put me back in the matrix. I don't want to know people.
Especially as an artist, because without these core principles that we have, we could be a lot wealthier, maybe. But like when it comes to the consciousness element of it, it is a real blessing like... to know to be aware and to know of such titans, such greats, such miracle makers. Like it is a blessing to know. And then what we've been doing the last 12 months, like I can't big you up enough, Nate, for it really and truly, because like each of these, that it is, I'm just like, when I tap into that energy, it just makes me want to firm up more. You know what I'm saying?
100%, bro.
Activated.
100%.
Yeah.
100%. That's what Jean-Jacques Dessalines did that for me in a big way, in a major way. Made me look at myself in the mirror and say, you know what? The last one was the last one. Do you understand me? Yeah.
Jean-Jacques Dessalines,
I'd say the answers are pleased. That I feel like what we're doing with Revolutionary Minds is very favourable. We're getting a lot of favour, and that is why it's flourishing and why it's growing in the way it is, because what we're doing is pleasing to them, you know, and honouring them. So we're just gonna keep going,
and it's valuable. It's valuable within the community. Like when I look at the comments that pop up on this chat here, you know, when I see the reactions from people at Auntie Jean's Market, when I promote the event and I talk to people about it, and they're like, "Oh my gosh, that's such a good idea." Do you know what I'm saying? You see the value in it. It's so valuable. It's such a valuable thing that we're doing. It's hard work, you know. Like I said, I had 2 shows this month, and then boom, now I got this one. I got 1 week to squeeze in as much as I can about Kimpa Vita and to write something. But in like 3 years' time, I'll remember Kimpa Vita as if I'd studied it the whole month. You know, I'll be like, yeah, Kimpa Vita. I remember this. I remember that. But I won't forget her name. You know. Yeah.
It's interesting as well, I'll say this as well, because in I wrote my Lumumba poem, that one, I did that like 13 years ago.
Wow.
And in there I've got Kimpa Vita, like she's in the verse, and like something like Kimpa Vita lit his speech or something like that.
Wow.
Yeah, something like that. And basically at that time, similarly when we did Lumumba for Revolutionary Minds, I didn't know, like I did my research, but I didn't know that President Eisenhower of the United States had ordered his assassination. I didn't know that. But this time around I learned that. Similarly with Kimpa Vita, there's so much more information now than back then. There's more stuff that's coming in general, like their legacies will, as proven to stand the test of time, no matter what the efforts have been to submerge them in the darkness. Like they come into the light regardless. It's like there's nothing you could do. So I feel like what we're doing as well, we're also stamping our legacy as well by honouring them. This is something that is very, very honourable to do. It's an honour to do them, but it's also an honourable act to honour them despite, you know, life and whatever life throws and such and such. Yeah.
Speaking of which, Maya.
Blue Lotus. Okay, so Blue Lotus, like, can you, because you've come to blossom in this Garvey Village Revolutionary Minds.
I've had a
movement.
DNA upgrade for sure. Definitely.
So what's behind the name?
Oh gosh. It's actually a long story. I did actually have a conversation. Well, I did the talking more so than Nate. I did send Nate a long explanation when the name came to me. I was meditating and I was like, I think me and you had a conversation, Nat. And I was telling you how Shakara Tafadzwa was like, oh, why did you change your name? And I started thinking, like, oh, now I'm doing poetry again. I guess I should have a name again. And I was meditating. I was thinking, oh gosh, what should my name be? What should my name be? And the name Blue Lotus came to me more so for what it represents. And I feel like it represents me and the different parts of the elements that make up me as a person in terms of the characteristics of the Blue Lotus. I'll go into more detail, but that will take a bit long. It's kind of going a bit off topic, but I will have a conversation with you offline if you want to. I'll just forward the text messages. I literally explained it in detail to Nate before I decided on the name, and I kind of got his blessing for the name as well. Before I adopted the name, so I will just send you this. I'll just send you the messages, and that will
yeah. I like it. I like the name. I like
Nate first, basically, mainly because as well I'm honouring Nate's energy, essentially, in terms of just how patient and supportive he's been of me. Emphasis on patience because he knows that I kind of used to write and I was, dabbling in poetry, and I just wouldn't perform, I wouldn't really show up, I wouldn't really share, and he was always encouraging me, always just saying, come and do it, and just being that friend that was encouraging you. And then all of a sudden he was moves me into the WhatsApp group, and here I am, looking back, fully Usain Bolt in the place, and just So I thought,
and look at the talent though. Do you know what I'm saying? Look at the talent. Like, look at the value that you've. Do you know what it is? Yeah, it's not just that you're a talented poet. You're a super intelligent person as well. So like with the work you've already done for gotkushTV, I've already seen that. This is your bag. This is your field. So like a concept like this, I'm grateful to know someone like you who can add the value that you can add. Who will do your own research. Who will find books that no one else even knows exist. Do you know what I'm saying? Who would be like, oh, have you heard of this person, or have you checked this person out? Do you know what I'm saying? Like, I know that you're someone who is definitely going to take it to that level. But even that aside, James, the talent, let me tell you, because I've heard you've done poetry at Dion's event, Nishati Nights, Empress Nishati. She's got a poetry event. And you've performed there. I've seen you perform there. I've seen you perform. I think I've seen you perform elsewhere. You performed at my event, right?
That was the only time I've ever performed.
That was the only. Oh, what, Dion's?
Yeah.
It was Dion's. You've not come to. You've still not done Leo, innit? That's right. I've been trying to get you to do Leo.
I'm doing it this year.
This year. Okay.
Let's just on a mad day. Just make sure it's not on the 4th of August, and I'll be there.
It's the first Sunday of the month. I don't know what that is.
4th of August.
Is it the 4th of August? So you basically said make sure it's not on the day that you know that it's on. Is that right?
Well, last month it was a Friday, so I can be optimistic.
We'll talk about it later. Yeah, we'll talk about it later. It's cool. What I'm trying to say is that now you're performing at Revolutionary Minds, and that is making me so proud because, man, the talent has surpassed my wildest expectations. Like the last few pieces that I've heard from you have been mind-blowing. Like the Revolutionary Minds that you've covered have been absolutely mind-blowing. I think everybody will agree that the return on investment was worth all the energy that I put in. I didn't even feel like I put in any energy. I was just bugging you. I was like, come on, let's perform, join us. I know you got it. Man, the payoff has been more than I could ever have imagined. Because you're the kind of person that you are, and because this platform is the kind of platform that it is, I really feel like this is great for you, and you're flourishing here, and I'm just
Yeah.
so blessed to be a part of it. So grateful to see it. I
feel
want
like
more of it. I want to encourage it as much as I can. And
Yes.
and
I'm in good
Yeah.
hands again. Also, even to nice Stella and Watisi again, like having a conversation with them at Auntie Jean's, and then being like, "What? You ain't doing no. You need to do it," and just kind of always being just encouraging and just speaking life, and yeah. So it's all plant. It's all water the seeds that are coming out now. So give thanks to all of you as well.
Yeah, no, for real. Like, I just wanted to quickly second what Late Lewis has said.
And I want to third it.
Because, like, yeah, your talent is next level. Like, there's only one other person in. I've been doing this thing for a very long time. Like, yeah, like 14 years I've been on this thing. No, 15.
Oh.
15. Been on this, and I've seen cycles and generations, and like basically there's ages maybe, like every 5 years there's a whole new set of poets. That's basically what I've observed. But like I haven't been this impressed by somebody that's like coming into it like this. There's only two people, you and Daddy Makes Dough. Like Daddy Makes Dough, he made his first appearance at our event. Nate, you were there, right?
Well, my event. He's performed at my event.
No,
he's definitely done
at our event, Out of Noise.
Oh yeah, he's done Out of Noise. Yeah.
Were you there when he did his first ever performance?
Yeah, that was his first ever. That's what he said, but we were like,
okay.
we were like, is that really your first ever performance? Because
we had to pull up. We had to do a pull up, and it's like, what? This is not making any sense. It's your first ever performance, like.
And that is levels, sis. Honestly,
The levels, mum.
And I feel
Daddy Makes Dough,
yeah.
Like I do. Like when you first came on and did the first one, I'm like, what's going on here? Like what? It's like what's actually happening? Like the intricacies of the words and the skill level. I'm just like, no. There's another timeline that you jumped into this one, and that timeline you were all with us in them days there, like.
Yeah. And I just want to say, adding to this my third in that, yeah, that when they're talking about your language and how it flows and stuff like that, I definitely need to see a Blue Lotus book. I told you, I struggle with reading, but I know that this would be one of those books that I literally.
It would be. Yeah, I agree with that.
In swimming and all of them things there, because it's just the language.
One day, I mean, it is something that I have in me. So you never know. Never know.
Specifically because of the way that you put words together, I feel like a book would be so engaging to read.
So,
you know, like, I mean, just keep on creating the poetry, and then you already have the book. You know what I'm saying? Just keep on going, and then one day you'll be like, I choose these 10. Bang. Do you know what I'm saying? And then that's it.
I'll give thanks. Yeah, I'll receive that, and yeah, just gonna keep going with the flow and just moving with spirit and just seeing where things guide me and just enjoying the process, because I am really enjoying it as well. So
speaking of people who are incredible with the pen, yeah. We just had another brother step in the building. You know what I'm saying? There we go. We got to show a little bit of honor and respect to you, man. Because
when we mentioned you, what is this?
Like Yamia was just bigging up Nate and then bigging up us two and with 287. I never see you pop up in the backstage. Like
I summoned you.
You summoned him, yeah.
Yeah, welcome, people. You guys good?
Yeah, we're good.
Yeah.
Welcome, brother.
Yeah,
man, we're good.
Thank you. More than an honor, more than a pleasure. Still, good thanks.
So we got to catch up with you now. Like, where you at with Kimpa Vita?
No, I haven't started it. You know, haven't started.
Not the writing, but the research. Have you done any research yet?
Research. In terms of research, yeah, I went in a little bit. I've had moments. It's been a challenging week. Not even a week. It's been a challenging strong, but it's been a challenging month in general for just to find that space and time to like really go in. But yeah, I've learned more than I knew before this month, so that's good. Like, big up everybody who's posted in the group. Yeah, I've had moments of really checking in with her. So, you know, I know that she got burnt at the stake. I know that they burnt her for heresy. I know that she was born into nobility. I know that she was a healer. She was a seer. She was like the shaman of her community and the healer of her community. Um, I know. I went into the Queen and Zinga story just a little bit, just to make sense of her cultural lineage. So that was interesting to know a bit more about Queen and Zinga, and know that they didn't defeat her until they didn't defeat her. She was in the 80s, and she passed, and that's when the Portuguese started to get more control over Congo, the Congo Kingdom, which was Angola, at the time where she was situated. Um, so yeah, it's good to know about the Congo Kingdom, how fantastic it was, um, and things of that nature. Yeah, those are the things that come to mind just off the top, though. So
Larger,
yeah, give thanks, give
larger.
thanks, give thanks.
Yeah,
I got to big up all of you lot, you know, because you lot are just giving me inspiration to be a better version of me. So yeah, I've got to big up you lot for everyone to see, you know. Give thanks.
Come on,
All
bro.
of you,
you
in
know
your own
what?
way.
Yeah,
Give
the
thanks.
the three brothers have got a lot of work to do because the sisters have already they've done their poems. They've written.
I know.
Three of us
I
have
told
written.
you, man. I told you. These lot come to embarrass us and that.
They're
I'm telling
setting
you.
pace. I would definitely say that
Telling
the
you,
sisters are
telling
setting
you,
pace right now when
telling
it
you.
comes to the revolution. But to be fair, that's how it's always been now. So you know, we salute you,
How's all
sisters.
the bit?
You
We're
know,
just keeping up with tradition, you get me?
yeah, mum.
Sit there. Sit there. But yeah, no, I'm gonna get into it, man. So I've been penning mentally. I've been penning mentally. So I'm gonna put pen to paper soon and find a space, unique unique astral little leeway and go into the zone. So yeah, I know I'll be there on Sunday. You know already. I'll be there on Sunday. I'll be there. I'll be
Same.
there. I'll be there. So what did I
Yeah, with
miss?
a pad in your hand. Well, not even with a pad. Man's gonna
Say
have the
that again.
bars on lock.
Yeah, I think I'm confident about that. We'll see. We'll see. See what the future holds. What they say. We'll see.
Yeah. To summarize, who can summarize this? Actually, we've gone deep and we've gone several places.
The one thing that I mentioned, what you see, I'll
Mm-hmm.
summarize it for you. Yeah, was her name is what's her name? Mama Mafuta. Mama Mafuta was basically the Kimpa Vita's mentor. So she
Oh, okay.
was like, yeah, she was a spiritualist, she was a shaman as well, all of that, and she was kind of she like
1 second, Nate. 1 second, Nate. Sorry. Is someone got something on in the back?
No, do you know what? That was, excuse me, man. I'll mute my mic. I'm right by a train station, innit? So excuse me.
Oh, okay. Okay. Sorry. Yeah.
yeah, Mama Mafuta. She was like, obviously I said it already, so I won't say it again because I think the video is gonna be saved. But just for like a catch up for the bro, innit? Like she was Kimpa Vita's mentor, and she had like this practice of like channeling the ancestors that she really publicized or kind of like spread quite a lot. And a lot of people in the Kingdom of Congo, when they were in their prayer circles, they would start channeling and because they were followers of Mama Mafuta. And then Kimpa Vita, when she was born, from she was so gifted, her parents took her to see Mama Mafuta. And then that was the woman who kind of like really endorsed her and guided her. And she was definitely one of my favorite people to kind of learn about in the story. So that was one of the things that I mentioned. I don't know if anyone else wants to summarize any of the other points. If there were any.
No, that was a big point. Yeah, go on, Jens. Yeah.
And I was gonna say, I kind of just touched on, you know, the psychological mind Jedi tricks that the Portuguese played on the Congolese in terms of the way they brought the religion, politics, and their status and accolades, and made them think that theirs was more desirable, and therefore made them aspire to be more like them, and which is how that's how they made it easy for them to infiltrate the hearts and the minds of the Congo people and essentially take over. So that's kind of like a summary of the kind of points that I brought forth in terms of what irritated me the most about the whole situation. Yeah.
The irritation is real.
Remember, I said that from early. Like remember, I was going texture, and I was on the back of the bus going texture, and I was reading up about Kimpa Vita. I was getting so annoyed. That's when I put that message in the group, like, this is going to be a roller. Remember that? I was saying, this is going to be a roller coaster. Because I was getting so annoyed with these Portuguese and Europeans and that. I was getting annoyed.
Yeah, and I went on from Yem's point. I was like, yeah, 200 years had passed before Kimpa came. So it'd been a long time of them being in there, putting their systems in place, like their prisons and stuff. Like prisons wasn't a thing on our lands before the Portuguese came. So building these spaces to hold us, and obviously the enslavement, etc. And so that indoctrination took that amount of time. You know, it wasn't, and even then the fight was always there. So I just wanted to acknowledge that fight and the fact that in 1739 there was the Stone Rebellion and many others. So after she died, the story went with people when they went through the passage, when they had to go enslaved, and they rebelled across the nations. You know, they were still holding that energy of Kimpa Vita, which I think is so powerful as well.
And that was
I think what is interesting about that time as well is, like, you know, what was going on for us as people, like melanated people across the world. It's quite a pivotal time across the world. We had Nanny of the Maroon, you get me, at the same time, Queen of Zinga, saying the 1600s was a mad season still. There's a lot going on, you know. So I thought that was interesting to delve into, because it was like there was a universal energy, especially a lot of women warriors, like stamping their name in history for the fight and the struggle, you know.
Facts. And basically I was touching on the level of violence and the ritualistic nature of what they did on the motherland itself, which that level of evil enabled them to enslave us and take us across to the Americas and the Caribbean. It was a lot of that type of evil, and we spoke on I think it's King Alfonso. I think it's him,
yeah.
who basically he won. He was beating the Portuguese after he'd and this was a lot of things that happened at that time as well. The pleading, like, please stop enslaving our people. Like, please to Portuguese, please stop enslaving our people. To the Pope himself, like, please stop the Portuguese from enslaving our people. It was not listened to. And then he went and he won the battles, and then he got stabbed in the back by a convert, Christian convert. And then the Portuguese did some next level mad ritualistic evil where they chopped his head off and put it in the church. They put it in the church and they celebrated his death. This was a couple generations or a generation prior to Kimpa Vita. So this is the horror that they were doing, like, on the land.
Yeah.
And yeah, what was noted as well, especially from Nate and Blue Lotus, is that the reading about Kimpa Vita, you get to the detail better than if you're watching the videos on YouTube and such, or the documentaries. You can get into the fine tune of her life more. And then we even spoke of that. Stella posted in the group this book that was worth £5,000 about Kimpa Vita. I want to get hold of that book. I just really want to get hold of it and see what is in there. Like
golden pages.
Yeah.
Real gold.
Couple spells probably. There's probably got a couple German spells in there.
So what we want to do now is share some poetry.
Shall I go first? Because you were sacrificial lamb last time, weren't you?
Yes.
I'll be sacrificial lamb this time. So
I was ready, boy. You were first to draw, boy.
I'm not scared anymore, but I'm definitely not ready. My poem's not finished. It's not ready. I've written it down, but I haven't
you do this every month. Every month. she comes, she draws one away, and she's like, yeah, that was just light. That was just light.
I finished it. It's finished, but it's not patterns. Yeah, I haven't wordsmithed it like I want to wordsmith it.
Pattern. Even
it's done.
It's patterned. You get me?
So give me a second. Let me just pull it up. Okay. Is there another way to donate apart from giving through the YouTube super chat? I'm not on social media, so I basically Snap and So I'm just reading Abeni and Maroon's
yeah, give thanks.
comment.
Give thanks, yeah. I mean, to donate definitely towards GotKush.
We're also looking for donations for Auntie the Garby Village as well. Anybody that wants to donate, please get in touch as well. We are.
I'll put the details.
Yeah. So I'm just popping my charger in. 1 second, guys. Okay. Sorry. Me, I can't. Okay. All right. Okay. So another untitled poem. Might have a title by Sunday, we'll see. Royal bloodline of noble heritage, the people's princess, even in death, dutifully declaring the sovereignty of your ancient kingdom, harnessing ancestral wisdom, your divinity deployed throughout the region to remind the people of their power. Peeking behind the veil, Ganga Miranda, you connect with the spirit, a Catholic and a mystic, you channeled a message for the Africans of the Congo. There is one God, he looks like me. There is one God, he looks like you. God communicated in the languages we knew. Sometimes angels leave messages for us to decipher, which is why my messages was left in an African stew. God visits us wherever we reside. Speaking our language, we don't have to hide. God is universal, changing only according to cultural context, bringing guidance for the people of that region and the ones coming next. God's messengers come from among us, for they know our ways intimately. Like Mama Mafuta, Kimpa Vita, don't follow it tentatively. She said, walk with me through Eden, bare feet, red earth between my toes, born of noble birth, my father bestowed upon me when I resurrected, to guide my people who were misdirected. Follow my footprints along fields of fragrant hibiscus and honeydew. The soil from which they grew glitters with precious metals. My message is the good news in the winds, moving the trees that bow before me. Walk with me through Eden. This woman of noble birth was a higher calling. This woman of noble birth has a higher calling. Born on rich and fertile lands, this is the garden of abundance. The waterfall glistens like the precious jewels that glow among the hills. They adorn my skin like mountain dew. I'm so wealthy, I'm mineral rich. So black like my skin with seeds that grow bearing fruits, our people were never hungry. Fresh waters flowing, they do not thirst. It was the Portuguese that came first. Walk with me through Eden. A kingdom of the Congo is the greatest of kingdoms. She sustains the entire world with every molecule of her existence. Lustful eyes stare at her curves and her beauty, radiance. At the strength of her offspring, the fruits of her womb, walk with me through Eden. We do not know how long heaven on earth will remain. These strangers bring strange and lustful ways, lust breeding insatiable desire. I can feel so many eyes on my prize. A land of this size and all its riches. They came with the Bible and call us witches. They draw nearer on vast ships with burning desire for my throne, and our very flesh they want to own. Walk with me through Eden while she is still pure and undefiled. Like a virgin, she is naive to the charms of smiling men, bearing cheap gifts for an expensive trade. Slaves to ambition, foregoing tradition, walk with me through Eden. She blushes at the gifts they give with one hand, barely noticing the crown jewels they swipe with the other. They said Africa was the land they call the mother, strange men suckling on her breasts. Eden didn't even know she had lost her mind, because at first they were kind. They need some milk. Eden is my garden, and she's the most beautiful woman. Now these strange men have entered with intentions to ravage, authors of confusion, starting to believe that she is the savage, seducing her kings with titles and accolades, not knowing her own worth, believing their ways were better than her ways. Dry bosoms, these men have been suckling for days. The seducers lusted after all the beautiful things, not just the apple of his eye, they came for the orchards, but Kimpa Vita was the small axe. Apples are a strange fruit, not our God, but theirs. Now everyone wants a bite of the Catholic rite. Game of Thrones, the Congolese kings ever feel contrite? The wages of ego is death, just so you can die with a European title. Allured in by trips overseas, false recognition. Your gods became idols. Weak, egotistical kings, how easily you let them in to rape your daughters while you toast to the good life with the locusts and widen your grin. Eden is known as the place of the very first sin. Kingdoms once flourishing in Eden, but somehow seduced by the ways of strange men from barren lands. They gave you a Bible and greatness slipped from your hands. Weak men with weak minds or indoctrinated misguided ambitions. They knew which weeds to plant in our garden, but Kimpa Vita is the small axe, called upon to remind you of our ways, and our values. Ganga Miranda in her death and resurrection. Our ancestors observe and send a warning. I am the message and the medium. I was born with these gifts for this very mission. For spirit is universal even when men are corrupted by the political ambition. So I synchronize the way of the religious order in my cultural context, as every other nation had the right to do. Even your God looks like you. When religion and politics share the same bed, the crown is heavy on the heads. Reawaken a nation reclaiming its throne. An African prophetess said, my God looks like me, and my prophets do too. Touch not my anointed, no more slavery, and reparations are due. Reinstate our rightful king and return the keys to the kingdom. I am moved by ancestral wisdom. It's dangerous to be a prophet. It usually ends one way. You choose the path of a death wish when you walk the path of a young black female prophet. It's dangerous to oppose the oppressors, to offend the originator of sin. It's dangerous to be an African in Africa. Your very existence was in danger. African hero painted as a heretic and burned at the stake with your infant for your crimes. Mother Earth still mourns at the moment, miserable from the memory, crying blood. Is this why the soil is red? Millions of Congolese dead. There is war in Eden, the land is cursed. The cries of my child as he burned crack the core of the earth's crust. The rivers flow with blood, shackles hide in the dirt like animal traps, clink, clanking, fading into the distance, bleeding ankles. And I haven't finished it. So for now.
Blue Lotus.
I might leave it like
Blue
that.
Lotus.
But it's still going on in it. So
Lotus.
like that. Stop dead there.
Blue Lotus.
Yeah, fine.
There are so many things that I want to say to you right now, yeah. Hopefully anyone who's watching this can understand why I was so proud and why I was so gassed that Yamaya is here and how this is definitely her back. Because not only was that phenomenal research, yeah, like well articulated, but that was poetry. What? That was poetry. That was a poem. Like from you talking about red clay between my toes or between toes, you know, like literally there were so many things in there. There were so many lines in there. There were so many concepts in there about how Eden is the place where the first sin, and the first sin was how the kings let the men sleep with their daughters. Yes, I'm so gassed. That was absolutely crazy. That was crazy. Well done. I can't gas that enough. That was crazy. I can't gas it enough. I'm gonna go on mute.
Thanks.
Yeah, I can just listen to you all day. Listen, it was just
Thanks,
It's
sis.
so deep and powerful, and when you kind of go into like you do this thing where you have a first gear and then you go into like fifth gear real quick, and it's like I can feel the flow of your pen, like when you're tapping in to the message, which is, you know, like I feel you. That's what I actually feel in your words. Excellent.
Thank you, sis. Give thanks.
Yeah, like sublime. Yeah, you don't waste lines. You don't waste lines at all. Like, yeah, you bless every line. Like, so I got that from David J. And he's like, basically, bless every line, and you bless every line. It's like you're not wasting. You don't waste the words. It's just like everything has its meaning. Yeah, the concept of Eden and it being cursed land and the blood, the mineral. Oh my God.
And
yeah,
the Eden thing is deep because I actually do believe that.
Yeah.
I
you've sourced the truth. You connect with the truth.
I believe that. I believe that the Garden of Eden
is Congo.
is there. Actually, so that's why it was like I saw everything in your poetry.
Yeah.
Like even our cat came along and was like, oh,
Can you see her?
Yeah, that's crazy.
Thank you.
Yeah, but I don't even know. I don't even know what I can add. Like, I just, like, what I'll say is like, if you was an X-Men, you'd be Storm.
Hey,
Storm.
Oh, Storm. Okay.
That was how I would sum up what I just experienced in it.
That's a good one actually.
So you've got a few
That
comments.
was a blizzard.
Jeez. Controlling the elements that was there.
So yeah, the first one. So you got bear. Look, fire.
Thanks, guys. Thank you.
Wow, since that was a history, fire.
Blue Lotus, beautiful expressions, eloquently documenting our journeys, interrupted, but we rise through ashes, blood, sweat, and tears. We are stronger than, sisters and brothers. Ashe.
Thanks, guys. Thanks everybody in the comment section. Thank you so much. Appreciate you. Love you all. Thank you.
They come with the Bible and called us witches. Fire, Blue Lotus.
Fire.
Up.
Big up Isis as well. Big up.
Large up my sister Isis in the building.
Isis, God bless it.
Large up.
See ya.
Yeah, phenomenal work.
Excellent. And this is so good that this is what this is producing, because the legacy of Kimpa Vita can continue through this. This is the point. And continue to this excellent form. Like higher level.
And I'm glad that the sister Benai asked like whether is there another place to donate and stuff, because essentially this is the way I see it. Napoleon, the film, they put 200 million behind that. Oppenheimer, the other film.
No, 80 million. It made 200 million.
No. The budget was that.
No way.
Yeah, the budget for it to create it was 200 million.
Wow.
And Oppenheimer, I think that was 100 million behind that film. And they're saying that basically they can't even find $1 million or they can't find a couple million to create Toussaint Louverture. Danny Glover, he's been on it for he's been on it for a while. He wanted to do Toussaint Louverture, but he couldn't get the budget.
Wow, mad.
And the way I see things is that when we're watching these films, and a lot of our people, rightly so, complain about our people being depicted or not depicted at all, but we're doing it. We're actually doing it. Like we're depicting the stories in the best way to honor them. So when even the ones that have got their names out there, like Harriet Tubman, we watched it together. We were like,
oh, I did.
Watch. But with the poetry that we're delivering, it is actually like in proper honor. We don't have to compromise. We don't have to take bits out. We're not placating no one so that it can get out there. doing what is best in honor of. And those who do find it, it will be the masses at some stage, but those who find it at this stage or to whenever that time comes, it's a blessing for them to get something that is so rich and so truthful and so in honor of our ancestors in the way that they deserve. So
I just want to shout out the Universal African King and Universal African Queen as well.
Littles.
Come on,
Love
our
them.
youngest, because they are like, this is the excellence that they're around. Like, that's just, can you imagine what they're going to be in like 10 years time? Like,
It's exciting. It's exciting to see what they're going to be. You know,
right.
witness it firsthand. Yeah.
So good. It's so good.
So
This is the village for true. It's the village for true.
In the village,
In
yes.
the village, yeah.
And yeah, the generations actually. So yeah, big up to Griot Chinyeri as well.
Yes, big up, Griot.
Big up.
She said she was gonna try and join in, you know.
Yeah, she did. Big up to Griot
From
Chinyeri.
Ghana all the way in the Volta East.
I just love how Griot Chinyeri, even despite being on the motherland and having all the reasons in the world not to be so engaged, she's pretty much really engaged in the group. Yeah.
For real.
We've
And she
really
always poses really good questions as well, like thought-provoking gems.
Yeah.
And when she does her thing, when she does her griot thing, I love it, you know.
Yeah.
Does her
Love
griot
it.
thing, like, this is why you're griot Chinyeri. I could see, like, the storytelling is just top tier.
Absolutely.
Yeah, she's.
Yeah. So yeah, we've got the intergenerational.
Yeah, it's beautiful. It's the village. It's beautiful. I would love us to be on one campfire together one day. Spend a weekend, all of us just reasoning. Like, it would just be dope.
Oh, in Ghana, yeah.
In
Ghana, even better. Even better. Living off the land.
In the Agri Festival.
Yeah.
That would be dope. Garvey Village in the Garvey Village.
Garvey Village in the Garvey Village. That is Auntie Jean's intention anyway. She wants villages around the world, like not just here in the UK, but also in motherland. There is a breakfast club in Maine right now. So yeah, she's on it. So Stella B.
Excited, much excited.
Okay. Burn us. Watch us transmutate like the process of chrysalis. We will break apart, our flesh will melt from our broken bones and reformulate. Energy reborn in many forms. Death, defiance. We defy man's laws. We rise from the ashes, acting Terrence Howard, mad scientist roles. We jump from 9th century timelines and slide round the flower of life curves and waves, enter new avatars, good actors on this earth's stage. We travel the stars, planets, moons, and remind those left they come from more than a place of evil's bazaars. We are Africans whose leaps will unlock our still bars. Pan in spirit, heavy is our metal, revolutionary in pen, called out by Seshat, scriber of freedom. Enter stage left, traveler from Congo kingdom. Know thyself is Kimpa Vita's wisdom. A young one guided to the path of the rebels against the Portuguese, bringers of centuries of hell. In the form of white Jesus, they cast their spells, but their son of God is bloodied from the too many blacks bodied. Their devil lord, the evil embodied. Millions wear his thorns as crowns. Congo's rivers crimson red from the many souls drowned. But through visions, Vita is life. Kimpa, the legendary one. Her gift of insight, the truth seeker's weapon, resurrected from the realms of our holy waters to bring life back to the tongues of our sons and our daughters. A resistance to enslavement led by the spirit of Njinga, Kimpa arrived after the Battle of Mwela, trained as Inanga Marinda, Mama Mafuta. I'm going to add that. Her message of Antagonism, non-violence to unite against the common enemies, the leaders did not take heed to prophetic words. 1684 to 1706, a young one spoke of our greatness, advocated for African unity, discouraged self-hatred, heed the warnings of a princess or pay the heavy price duty, a hefty toll on the heart, need to be feather light for Ma'at. Her power spreads through crowds like that of a superstar. Euphoria, bringer of schooling, Euphoria bringer, schooling the fans like Kendrick Lamar, except she did not call you niggas. Rather, black gods, a wise mentality, a resonant harmony, her battle song, linked to freedom fighters that traveled to the new world, like the Stone Rebellion, 1739. Okay, I'm going to leave it there because there's so much. Yeah.
Had me time traveling there. Still, had me time traveling. I was there.
Thank you. Yeah.
So that was excellent. Absolutely loved it. I love the progression. I love when you said Mama Mafuta. I can't lie. I was like, wait, I thought you said. I'm gonna add that. But it flowed perfectly. Do you know what I'm saying? It fit the marriage theme. I was like, yeah, man. What?
Yeah. As soon as you guys said that, I was like, oh, there's the bit because that's how I write.
There's music in our languages. Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Mama Mafuta. That just rhymes with a lot of things now.
Can't refute her.
Isn't it? That flows by itself. What?
Yeah.
I love that, Phil. I'm a huge fan. You already know. Listen,
I'm looking forward to hearing
the finished version.
Yeah.
But you guys are inspiring me that I need to.
Thanks for that. I felt like I got taught a lesson there from a wise teacher, you know. So yeah, good thanks. And you've done it in melody and poetry. Excellent. Sensational stuff.
Sensational.
Oh, good thanks, guys.
Della's got a hook as well, you know.
No,
I
I
hope she
haven't.
does it.
What?
Why you did drop that?
Come on, saying?
That's how you think you're gonna stop there, fella, yeah?
What you saying? Send the time Nate dog, and she's denying us.
Where is it? Bring it calm.
Della's got a hook.
No. We'll see. I don't know. We'll see. We'll feel the energy of the day. We'll see. Because it's call and response.
Yeah.
Come on, man.
We got
Can't deny the people that, man.
She's coming to life, that one.
No, you can't deny the people stuff.
Yeah, you can't deny it. Give the people what they want.
Come on.
I will definitely respond. Yeah, so I'm
Yeah,
looking forward to hearing it.
All right. Okay. in the live.
You guys are inspiring me, man. I need to actually put pen to paper and start this piece.
Yes.
Yeah, same.
Don't worry, man. The superpowers are just locked in. You've gone
ASAP.
man. You know that already, man. Easy.
ASAP, because yeah, man, you sisters are definitely leading the charge right now. There's a couple days to go, and all three of the man, none of us have written a single line. That's what you're telling me. I think Nat, you said you've written a couple lines, right? Nat's written a couple lines.
I've written a couple lines. Literally.
Well, Cece and I are looking at the lines on the paper.
Danny was here. Should be starting as well.
Oh, okay. Do you know what? Tiara said the same as well. Actually, she said she hasn't started yet, but you know she's like she said it's reassuring to hear that I haven't started either. So,
Boy, as
Yeah,
long
yeah.
as it don't come to Sunday, as long as it don't come to Sunday, a man is having the same conversation. Then we're good.
Yeah, no, yeah.
Yeah.
You know, one thing I would say though, yeah, I feel like when you write the piece, like even if you do it at the end, yeah, even if you do it like right at the very end, like my Marcus Garvey piece, for example, that I wrote for last weekend's show, I started, bro. Let me tell you, 2 days before the show, I had nothing. I had absolutely zero, you know. And then it was like I mashed it out, and sure, I read it off my phone, but at the same time, now I've listened back to it more times than, do you know what I'm saying? Like now it exists, it's done, you know. So now it is born. Do you know what I'm saying? So even if like we're struggling to get this Kimpa Vita poem out until the last second, once it's born, it then exists. Then we can, you know, put it in a book or do whatever. It's about all the research that we're putting into it to inform it, to actually create it. Do you know what I'm saying? And we're putting bare into it. But I think Auntie Jean's Market, and now this gotkushTV live that we're doing as well, kind of gives us a kind of like a deadline or just like a push, like a time frame, you know, that, you know, really by the time we get to the live, ideally I want to have a poem at least, do you know what I'm saying, so that I can then work on trying to memorize it instead of I ain't even started. But it's been, as brother Watisi said, man, it has been a long month. It's been a month and a large at Watisi and I on our Gemini season, you get me? It's our time, yeah. It's been a potent month, you know what I'm saying? So yeah, man, we give thanks for it, but at the same time, Kimpa Vita's poem is about to get started, especially after the inspiration from you guys today, from you two, definitely. I am seeing the levels.
Yeah, I echo that. Both of you, like, you know, this Ebene says, Stella spilling beautiful bars, complimentary to this Blue Lotus. Brat, 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 sis. Like, it is that. Like, you both, I'd love to see you collaborate at some stage.
Yes.
It's gonna happen. It's meant to happen for this one, but
it was meant to happen for this.
It's my fault. It just wasn't flowing. Like, spoke to Stella, she was like, "Do you want to share?" I was like, "I really got much." I literally didn't have what I had today, and even what I have today, I'm not. You know me, guys. I'm a perfectionist. It's just, yeah, you just have to catch me off guard. Otherwise, I'm overthinking the thing. But yeah, it's gonna happen. It will happen for sure.
What are you saying, Stella, Yemaya and Danny are gonna do Run DMC and that?
Yeah.
Back to back.
Basically, we're on pepper.
Jeez. And what you saying? Break dancing on the locks and that.
Say again?
Saying two break dance on that on the lock.
You never know what we're gonna bring, you know. With the answers in my
Take it back to the old school.
We're gonna be TLC. We're gonna definitely be a TLC, the three of us.
Guys.
Look at that. Wow.
Yeah. Your poetry blends so well, like listening to you back to back as well. It really does. Like, yeah,
it's gonna happen.
The skill levels are so extremely high. And I feel the same way. Like, I think last time I was caught out was I think it was Booker T, maybe. I don't know. I was caught out one of these months here where both of you just blazed up and I'm like, "Right, I'm not gonna sleep." That happen again, like, yeah.
But you looked at Ebony, so you guys write on the same day and your poem would be like fire.
You know what I'm saying?
I've been writing this for a whole month and I still ain't finished.
You say that, yeah, but I've got a few revolutionaries who I'm not happy with the poem that I wrote for them. I can't lie. There's a couple of them who feel like I want to go back and honor them again, or I want to just like write another piece for them, you know. But I know what I've got is what I've got, and I don't want to overthink it. But trust me, the way that you feel about my poetry is very much so the way I feel about yours. You know, I tell you that now, innit?
After hearing two poems from Diesel, I'm like, boy, You don't need no poetry from me, man. The thing's set, man.
Oh,
Everything covered,
no,
man. Come on,
no.
man. You're not done anything. I'm good, man. There's enough
No.
words. There's enough powerful
That
words.
was,
I'm
that was
good.
very skillful. No. Hey, Nate, what's with
They
287
got
trying
the
to do here? What's going on?
No.
I can't lie. It didn't cross my mind. I can't lie. It didn't cross my mind.
No.
No. But
and,
yeah,
and you just
No.
let it out now. So now we're going to be suspicious if anything.
We definitely need your voice, Fatisi. We need your voice, bro. We
I
need your
can't
voice.
lie.
We need your
Can't
insight.
lie. I've been
You get me?
tempted, but I know you lot are not gonna really have it. So yeah,
no,
that's the energy in it. That's the encouragement. That's not the push that one needs in it. Every month, in it, someone's gonna need a push. I guarantee you. Certain
Yeah,
times, that's
man.
how it goes. More time.
Yeah.
Somebody's gonna need a push. So yeah, I got that in it. I'm gonna get that if I ever
Yeah, you've got
give thanks.
yeah, and
Thanksgiving, you know.
saying earlier, like these revolutionary minds, they're so resilient, and that's what really makes me feel like. In fact, it's that partly it's everyone getting it done. You two just taking it. So the ego side of me is like, right, there's no way on earth I'm going and I'm not going to have a poem at Auntie. What, are you crazy? Like, there's the ego bit in there as well, but it's also like, raw. Kimpa Vita went through so much. The least I can do is honor her. You know what I'm saying? And I feel like that with every one of these revolutionary minds we've done, like the least I can do is honor them properly, because they haven't been honored properly. So the least I can do is that, even if it means that I don't, like, I do need to have a sleepless night or whatnot, I will do it. Like, or I have to write on, and I'm going to finish the night. It's like, I'll finish at the actual event. Like, I will do that. But I've done what you've done, what you say. I've actually done it. I've gone back into the previous poems. I'm like, and I've edited and I've reshaped. I'm probably gonna keep doing it like over time as well.
Yeah. Also, just to add to that, yeah, my camera's doing my thing again. But anyway, just to add to that, like, it's like it's like. Man didn't know about Kimpa Vita until this year. It's like it's like what we're doing is like also like we're carrying on their legacy, right? So other people, we're doing the work for others, and it's not like to say like the service is in vain. Like there's a lot we get from doing that, and I feel like the energy that drove them to be who they were is like. It's like very important to just remember that and kind of put that through word and through music and through sound and the rhythms that we're each naturally gonna like bring to the table. It's almost like they've done their work so we can recognize them, like it's like a symbiotic experience to go into their realm. Am I making sense?
Yeah.
It's almost like we become more together, we become more stronger through their stories, and they become stronger through us telling their stories.
Yes.
I was saying that earlier, saying the same thing earlier. They are pleased, and keep doing what we're doing. The energy behind it.
Yeah.
I just want to read that Aisha's comment. Big up Stella B. Your poetry style transcends space and time, bringing ancestors forward to the here and now. Ashe definitely was fluid hearing Blue Lotus and Stella back to back like a one.
Facts.
Yeah.
I'm telling you.
Aisha, give thanks, sister.
Give thanks.
You saying Jada Kiss and Styles P?
Not great enough.
Hey, but even Aisha's is I know Aisha's has got something up her sleeve as well,
Yeah.
Already she could have come and blaze it.
Blaze it.
Yeah, you know she's gonna run it red.
Absolutely. Looking
No.
forward. If she can
The
make
spirit
it,
flows
it'll be
through
good.
Sister Aisha differently, you know.
Mm.
Yeah. Once she connects to that spirit, boy, we're going on a journey.
Mm.
So true.
Yeah, I think we've covered it.
Yeah, I think I gotta head out, guys, if we're wrapping up. Unless we're
Yeah, my
wrapping up.
bed be calling me, the shower's calling me, the bed calling me, and now my phone
Well,
to return. So me, I going on.
let's shout out Auntie Jean, Auntie Jean's African Culture Market this Sunday, the 16th from 2 p.m. till 8 p.m. Get yourselves to the community
St.
St.
Andrew's
Andrew's Community
St.
Centre
Andrew's Church.
Broccoli.
in Brockley.
Get yourself to the broccoli, yeah? Jeez, I'm about to do that now.
That's a good way to remember where it's at.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we will be
St. Andrew's Church, broccoli, Sunday. Don't miss it. If you miss it, you'll miss it. Now,
You're a misfit if you miss it.
Yeah.
Yeah, mum.
And we're going to have Nuakai Aru, who's going to be talking about his films and documentaries that he's covered Africa, and he's got some books out at the moment. He's a motivational speaker. He does all sorts of things. He does Muay Thai, martial arts, Tai Chi. Also, we've got some extra drummers as well as the Sangoma drummers. We've got the Guaca drummers from Guadeloupe.
Wow.
man, I might even bring my drum, you know. I swear down.
Yes,
Bring
bring your drum.
drum.
Bring your drum. It's going to be
I might even bring my drum.
Teach some rhythms from Guadeloupe and
Jeez.
do that call and response as well. So that should be nice. So they'll be coming. Not nice. That's not a good word, is it?
It's going to be great.
It's going to be amazing. So yeah, make sure you
Majestical.
Sounds like a big vibe.
Elder Mink are going to be doing his Malcolm X presentation that he did
That's
do last
right.
as well. Looking forward to that.
Excellent.
Yeah.
Elder
And
Minka
obviously also got
will be down to do his Malcolm X presentation. And yeah, because it was his birthday on the 19th of May. And we didn't get the time to celebrate him and honor him then. So we are going to honor him this month.
lots to look forward to, as well as the fresh fruit and veg on sale, fresh jelly coke, fresh summer stuff, all of them things. And then the food as well, you know me, my food, there's gonna be some nice food. I don't know who's cooking this today, but whatever is gonna be there, I'm sure it's gonna be fire. The food.
Well, fingers crossed.
Fingers crossed. I might get us some puff as well.
Yeah.
So
yes,
there's
please.
another called
Puff
Daddy, Puff Man.
The Puff Man.
What are you saying? Nate's already got some puff right now.
Right now, bro,
right now, in there. Bang.
I'll go for the puff, man. That sounds like a vibe.
It's slow right now. That took me a minute. I was like,
I love puff, man.
Yeah.
So
they're so good.
You can make it down.
He's gonna be there, and they're delicious, guys.
Yeah, they are.
Okay, so bring cash if you're watching this, yeah.
Yeah. Bring cash.
Yeah, man.
Yeah. Also, in the name of cash, yeah. If you have it in your heart to donate to the Garvey Village, that's one thing. And also, if you have it in your heart to pay the poets, any one of us, give a one donation, any one of us. If you give it to one of us, we will all feel appreciated. You get me? Appreciate them. So,
absolutely.
We're definitely raising funds for the Garvey Village, first and foremost as well. So, yeah, come true with that in your heart as well. Give thanks.
100%, man.
And specifically for the Revolutionary Minds, 3 to 4 p.m. specifically. So if you want to get more of what you had this evening, this night, then 3 to 4.
Man. We're gonna be there early. We'll be there from 2.
Yes. So we're gonna start on time.
Yeah. I probably. All right.
I felt that. I was
I'm
like,
gonna
Peace,
see you guys on Sunday. Yeah.
See you
Yeah,
on
and peace,
Sunday.
people.
Peace,
Have a
peace
great
out.
evening, great night. Until
Alright.
next
Likewise,
time.
likewise. Blessing for
Yeah.
the energy. Love, 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 love.
no.
Guidance.